What's up, YouTube? Let me get my face up on here so y'all can see it. Bobbles and Ball Cards back with another video. Hope you've had a wonderful weekend. It's Sunday, November 6th. If your football team played this weekend, good luck. Hope you won. We are here to talk some hockey. This is going to be the Puckin Flip It, episode 3. I have enjoyed hockey so much. I can't stress the enjoyment I get out of watching the sport, learning the sport, the cards, the players, all of that. I've spoke on it, but I know a lot of folks don't care about hockey. It's not the popular sport, but it's very fun to watch, and the cards themselves are just phenomenal. If you want to collect, or I'll tell you, I even think I made the name for the series Puckin Flip It just as kind of like a little fun play on words. But the truth is, there is so much potential in hockey to make money on cards. If you just put forth the work, watch it and everything. I really related a lot to baseball. Baseball has gotten a bit out of its norm where a lot of players are getting hyped now more, and values are hitting extreme highs before the players have done anything. Whereas before, baseball was a lot more performance-based. Well, hockey is still in that performance-based, but you will have some hype over the top pick or whatever, like Lafreniere. He was hyped up pretty good. But the key is with hockey that I've noticed is you might have a young gun, and I'm going to talk about a guy here in this episode. You might have a young gun that comes out, and when it first comes out, the player's not really... People aren't big on him or whatever. It takes him a little bit to warm up, so to speak. And then maybe a year or two down the line, he'll break out and actually show and play up to his potential. So it's kind of fun. What I really love doing is, you get 6 young guns per hobby box, or if you buy the retail boxes, they're a little bit cheaper, but you don't get parallels in them. But it's a great way to stack young guns. I love just ripping hobby boxes and pulling the young guns out, looking and seeing what players are, decent at that time, and then taking the rest of them and just sleeving them and putting them in a top loader, and I have a massive box of them. Because at any moment, you don't know which player is going to find his groove and, start picking up and playing at a good level. So, before I get into things tonight, I want to give a shout out to Alex Ovechkin. He broke the record. He is now the record holder for most goals scored playing for a single team at 787. So awesome accomplishment. He's the local Caps guy, and it's been exciting following the journey of him trying to pass Gretzky's all-time goals leader. It'll be cool if, in 13 more goals, again, if you're watching this and you're not into hockey, in 13 goals, Ovi will have 800, and he will become only the 3rd player in NHL history, which dates back many, many, many years. He will only be the 3rd player in history to accomplish 800 goals. So we are legit witnessing history, and it's really cool to be able to watch it and keep up with it and all of that and follow it as it happens. So shout out to Obi. Also, give a shout out to the Astros. I did a video before the World Series began and spoke on my choice, even though it was hard to say, was the Astros. But that was because I wanted Dusty Baker to get a World Series title on his resume as a manager. So congratulations to Dusty Baker for accomplishing that. As an ex-Washington National coach, I'm very happy for him. So, all right, let's get into it. I want to go over the standings a little bit. We got about a dozen games at least for everybody. There's some teams that hasn't hit their dozen mark yet, but I also want to speak, if you're not a hockey fan and you don't understand how this works, hockey does not go just by wins, losses. It actually goes by this points here. And to explain how points works, if you get a win, it's 2 points. If you get a loss, it's 0 points. However, this overtime column is very important because what happens is if you win in regulation, you get the 2 points no matter what. If you lose in regulation, you get 0. But if after regulation, if you go to overtime, when it goes into overtime, each team gets 1 point each. The winner will get the additional point to earn the 2 points for the win, but the loser still gets 1 point. So if you lose in overtime, it's not as detrimental as it is like in other sports, because the way this is all tracked is by points on this point system. So by looking at this, here's the Eastern Conference. This is the Metropolitan Division. You have the Devils sitting atop at 18 points. You have Carolina in second with 17 points. And then Philly, Islanders, and the Rangers all have 14 points. Now, this will shuffle around over the course of the season, I am sure, because I actually think the Rangers will be a pretty solid team and likely move up a little bit. So there is the Metropolitan Division. Next up is the Atlantic Division. You have Boston on top with 20 points. Tampa Bay, who's always tough, they have 15 points. Detroit has a strong young team. They're sitting at 14 points along with Buffalo and Toronto. Florida is down here at 13. They made a big trade in the offseason. They got Matthew Tkachuk for Jonathan Huberdeau. So curious to see how they play out. Montreal has a very talented young team, as well as does Ottawa. So curious to see where these guys finish up here. Let's move over to the Western Conference. You have the Central Division. Dallas, the team I have been rooting for because I like Jason Robertson. I like Jake Ottinger. They have, Miro Heiskanen, Tyler Seguin. They have several players that I actually like watching, but I was big on Jason Robertson from the start. I'm very proud that I followed my gut and my instinct as a new hockey fan and seen something in him, and it turned out to be correct. So that's given me confidence in what I see in players, especially in hockey and being new to it. So I do take that as a very proud moment for myself. But Dallas is sitting at the top with 17 points. Winnipeg has 15. The defending Cup champs, Colorado, is at 13 points. Chicago with 12. Minnesota and Kaprizov, they're with 11. And Nashville also at 11. St. Louis is struggling. They're down here at 6 points, but they do only have 9 games played. So this is where things can be interesting. So you see Dallas has this 12 games played, and St. Louis only has 9. So if you take this and add 3 games, and let's say they win all 3, well, then you're going to add 6 points to this, and they're immediately going to shoot up to here. So they're going to immediately have 12 points if they win all 3 games. Now, they started out 3-0, and they've lost 6 straight, so that's not a good sign. But anyway, things can shift around. But anyway, next up, Pacific Division, you got Vegas at the top with 22 points. Seattle Kraken, the Mrs. team, she picked this team. Their first season was last year, so they are an expansion team, and it's kind of crazy to see they're already in the second spot, but the Kraken are sitting at 16 points. You have the Los Angeles Kings with 15 points, Edmonton at 14, Calgary at 11, and then the rest of the field at 9 points each. So that's the rundown on the standings currently. Let's look at some stats and some players here. No surprise with points, McDavid and Draisaitl up here at the top. Them two are just insane. It's crazy that they're on the same team. You have Nikita Kucherov, always, as long as he stays healthy, he's going to put up a bunch of points. And then you got McKinnon, Pasternak, and Eric Carlson, who is a surprise. He's a defensive player with 19 points. To look at in a breakdown, here's the goals. McDavid has 12 goals. Carlson has 10. Bo Horvat has 10. Keep an eye on these guys. Gabe Vilardi, he's a younger guy. He has 9 goals already. There's Robertson, who I mentioned, with 8. You have Suzuki and Caulfield, both with 8. So a lot of young talent there. But I'm really interested if Gabe Vilardi can keep the pace up for the Kings and how that turns out. His young guns are, I think they're about $10 to maybe $15 raw right now. So keep an eye on him. And then you go over here to assists. You got Draisaitl, McKinnon, Kucherov, McDavid, and so on. For the rookies, Matty Beniers, he is a Kraken player. He will be in the upcoming Series 1 product for his young gun. He is leading the way in rookie points. He is second right now in goals behind Shane Pinto, who was in last year's Series 1. So keep an eye on those two. Wyatt Johnston, I have not seen which set he's going to be in, but he is a Dallas Star, so I will be keeping my eyes out for him. So Matty Beniers and Wyatt Johnston are likely going to cost me a little bit of money. All right, here's Jake Ottinger over here for the goalies. He is tied for first. I mentioned that I like Ottinger. Tied for first with only a 1.4 goals against average. So good stuff there. I want to flip back over here on the points. I think it was, let's see. I was looking at something earlier. Right here, defenseman points. So Rasmus Dahlin, or I probably say his name wrong, Rasmus Dahlin or Dahlin. He has 7 goals on the year and a total of 15 points already. Keep an eye on this kid, and I say kid because he's only 22 years old. That's very intriguing because his young gun was back in 18-19, and he's only 22. So this is a thing where, like, guys, if they're from past years, you might be able to find, if you keep an eye on a player, you might be able to find a good buy before people like notice it, and you can pick some up and then keep eyes on him. If there's a guy that you think, like if you're a hockey fan or you pick a team to keep up with, and you notice a player who's young, I like to look at those guys, probably 18 to 24 range, the younger players. Keep an eye on them and see what they're going to do, and then go and see when their young gun was, because it could be several years ago, and they may not have started out their career very well, but if they've figured it out on the ice, if they're getting more ice time, if they're learning, able to score goals, getting assists, maybe they moved up into a more important line. The first line, second line, they got better stars around them playing with them. Maybe some trades were made. Keep an eye on them, because some of these guys can break out and start having really good, careers. So Dahlin is one of them. It looks like his young gun right now is probably going to run you roughly, probably around $40, I would say, raw. Maybe 35, throw in some shipping. Yeah, probably around $40. But this is where opportunities are. And plus with hockey, there's so much raw out here, and it's base cards. So, whereas other sports base cards kind of went by the wayside, there's still opportunity here. With grading prices coming back down and young guns and stuff like that, raw availability, and you can pick the prices or pick them up at a decent price, send them in and get graded. There's opportunity here. If you bought that for $40, graded it for $18 or what have you, and can sell it for $177, that's a pretty good come up. So just something to keep an eye on. I wanted to mention here's Erik Karlsson. He is leading for defenseman right now, but I wouldn't hold a lot on that. Some of these guys start really, really strong and then fade out. Keep an eye on him. Right now, it looks like he's going to be in that $35 range. But if I had to pick a defenseman right now, I would go pick up the Rasmus Dahlin. I do already have a young gun of his and a 10, so but he's the one that I would go with there. So anyway, that's all I got for you guys. I like to just get on, talk hockey a little bit, look at it each week, and see if any names are popping out, playing better. Again, I want to be clear and make sure everybody understands. I am new to hockey, so this is exciting to me, and I'm not like a professional at it at all, but I like looking at this stuff because it's a new sport. I see opportunity in it. I see how much fun it is, and I also see how true the fan bases are to players, teams, and just the collectors in general. People still build sets in hockey, and that doesn't happen so much anymore in baseball or even football, basketball, or anything. So it's cool to see the collector space in hockey cards and how those folks are still passionate about it and how prices are more in tune with what a player's doing and not just what hype is out there. There's not a lot of hockey influencers. I'm not trying to influence anybody. I'm trying to just talk about the sport, share the stats, share the standings, and talk about some players that I can see, that might have some opportunity. And yeah, hopefully I can get some other folks on and talk with me and just have some fun because I really do enjoy hockey cards. So that's all I got for you guys. Hope you have a wonderful Sunday evening. Stay safe, stay healthy, and until the next video, I'm out.